You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
CNN anchor stomps GOP lawmakers' denial cold to his face, based on an article by Adam Lynch. Trump owns the economy, and Republicans know it. Pamela Brown did the simplest thing journalism can still do. She forced a Republican lawmaker to answer for the government his party controls. Rep. Michael Baumgartner tried to pin economic pain on Joe Biden while defending Donald Trump's record, even though the policies, spending choices, and political consequences now belong to Trump and the Republican Congress. The owner is the one in charge. The source material is not subtle. Americans are disapproving of Trump's handling of the economy, and Baumgartner's response was to talk as if the last administration still runs the country. That is not an analysis. It is a dodge. Trump is president. Republicans control the governing apparatus around him. When prices, taxes, and safety net cuts hit, the public is not experiencing a memory of Biden. They are living under Trump's decisions. Blame shifting as governing style. Baumgartner's real job in that interview was not persuasion. It was laundering responsibility. He praised Trump's very strong economic growth while admitting, in the same breath, that there is inflation left over from the Biden administration. That move is the oldest trick in the modern conservative playbook. Take credit for the upside, outsource the downside, and pretend the presidency is only powerful when it is useful for applause. Then he reached for the familiar mask of neutrality, insisting presidents get too much credit and too much blame. That is convenient nonsense from a lawmaker who was perfectly happy to blame Biden seconds earlier. The hypocrisy is the point. They want electoral ownership without accountability. The bill does the damage. The source also names the policy architecture behind the spin, the big beautiful bill, a controversial and unpopular tax cut that is set to push beneficiaries off federal safety nets just after the midterms. That is not an accident of legislative drafting. It is political timing with a knife in it. The governing coalition is trying to hand out tax reduction branding while staging the social cost for after voters are done being asked for their judgment. That is how power behaves when it expects the public to notice too late. The cruelty is not hidden. It is scheduled. Brown did the minimum. Republicans did the rest. Brown's pushback mattered because too much political coverage treats this kind of evasiveness as just another exchange of talking points. It is not. It is an attempted transfer of blame from the people making policy to the people living under it. A media interview can expose the scam, but it cannot substitute for a political opposition willing to name who is doing what. Baumgartner was not confused. He was serving a line. Trump and his allies are not trapped by economic forces they do not control. They are controlling the story to keep voters from connecting policy to harm. The pattern is the point. This is the larger pattern. Authoritarian politics depends on denying responsibility while hoarding power. It blames predecessors for present damage, celebrates itself for results it did not earn, and uses institutions like Congress and cable news as staging grounds for evasion. The names change. The structure does not. The lesson here is not that Republicans are merely incoherent. It is that they are governing through misdirection because direct ownership of their agenda would be electorally poisonous. The job of democratic politics is to keep naming the owner until the public cannot be lied out of what it is already paying for. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Alternet for today's article, with the automated voice of Amy. Thanks for listening.